Hi Cinta, have you heard about the hottest news?
Hi Rafa, what's news?
I heard the news that public official salaries will be increased in order to reduce corruption. What do you think?
I agree if increasing the salaries of officials can be a potent strategy to reduce corruption. For several compelling reasons, higher salaries provide a stronger financial incentive for officials to remain honest and resist the temptation of corrupt practices. When their basic needs are adequately met, there is less motivation to seek illicit income. Additionally, competitive pay can attract highly skilled and morally upright individuals to public service, fostering a government workplace characterized by competence and integrity. While compensated officials are less likely to face financial pressures that could lead to unethical behavior, allowing them to focus more effectively on their duties. Moreover, increased salary can enhance morale and loyalty among officials, who will feel more valued and thus more committed to their roles. This can be cultivate a positive work culture and promote ethical conduct. The higher pay also reduces the relative benefit of engaging in corrupt activities, as the legal and financial risks of getting caught outweigh the need for additional income. By improving the compensation, we also elevate the standards of professionalism within the public sector, encouraging a more responsible and transparent approach to governance. Furthermore, satisfied officials tend to perform their duties more effectively, leading to overall improvement in government efficiency and performance. Addressing corruption at its roots often means eliminating the small-scale corrupt practices that stem from financial necessity. Adequate salaries can preempt this temptation. Lastly, when the public perceives the officials are fairly compensated and not involved in corruption scandals, trust in the government is bolstered, which is crucial for the stability and legitimacy of any administration. This argument underscores the significant role that fair compensation can play in curbing corruption and enhancing the quality of governance.
For me, providing high salaries for public officers with the excuse of preventing corruption, I disagree with that. Some countries that have tried this policy have not always seen positive results. For example, Singapore. Singapore did succeed in decreasing corruption, but that success was more due to strict law enforcement and a strong anti-corruption, not simply because of high salaries. We should learn from this experience and realize that high salaries are not the sole solutions. I would like to give some only other reasons why I disagree with this policy. First, high salary do not guarantee a decrease in corruption. Corruption is often driven by greed and lack of integrity, not just by the economic needs. Even with high salaries, if the mentality and morality of public officers do not change, corruption will still occur. Without strong law enforcement and an effective monitoring system, high salary will only serve as additional income for the corrupt. Second, social injustice. In our country, there are still many people living below the poverty line and struggling to fulfill their daily needs. Giving high salaries to public officials in this situation can create a widening gap and a sense of injustice in society. People's money or public's money should be used to improve the welfare of all people, not just a handful of public officials. Third, the burden on the national budget. A large state budget for official salaries will reduce the allocation of funds for other important sectors such as education, health, and also infrastructure. This can harm long-term development and public welfare. Budget priorities should be focused on programs that directly serve the people's needs. Fourth, moral hazard. Paying high salaries without improving supervision and law enforcement will only create a false sense of security among public officials. They may feel that with high salaries they can avoid punishment even if they commit corruption. This can actually increase the risk of corruption due to lack of deterrent effect. Fifth, the need of structural reforms. Corruption is often rooted in systemic and cultural weakness that cannot be solved simply by increasing salaries. Structural reforms that include increased transparency, accountability, and stricter law enforcement are more effective measures to combat corruption. Without these reforms, high salaries will not help much. 6. Motivation and work ethics. Public officials who are motivated by high salaries may be less committed to public service and more motivated by personal gain. This can have a negative impact on the performance of the bureaucracy and public services. We need public officials who are dedicated and have integrity, not those who are only after material gain. For the reason I have stated, it is clear that providing high salaries for public officials is not the ultimate solution to preventing corruption. We need more comprehensive reforms that focus on improving integrity, transparency, and law enforcement.
Okay, about your first argument, well, it's true that greed and lack of integrity drive corruption. Addressing economic necessity is a significant first step. Higher salaries can reduce the immediate financial pressures that may lead some officials to engage in corrupt practices as means of survival. Additionally, high salaries should not be seen as standalone solution, but rather as part of a broader anti-corruption strategy. When combined with strict law enforcement and effective monitoring system, higher salary can enhance the overall efficiency of this measure, creating a multi-phase approach to tackling corruption.
For the idea that higher salaries should be part of a wider anti-corruption is valid in theory, but in reality, it often fails. Effective anti-corruption strategies require substantial investment in law enforcement, transparency, and a culture of accountability. In many cases, these elements are underfunded or poorly implemented. Relying on higher salaries as a critical component of these strategies can divert resources and attention from more impactful reforms, such as improving judicial independence, strengthening anti-corruption institutions, and promoting transparent public procurement process.
And then about social injustice, investing in fair compensation for officials is an investment in integrity. When officials are fairly compensated, it creates a more ethical and efficient government, which ultimately benefits society as a whole, including the most vulnerable population. Moreover, the long-term benefit of reducing corruption, such as more efficient public service and better use of public funds, can significantly improve overall society welfare and reduce social disparities. Therefore, while it may seem that high salary contribute to social injustice in the short term, they can actually promote greater social equality in the long run.
For that, while fair compensation for public officials is important, it must be balanced against the broader context of social justice. In countries with significant income disparities and widespread poverty, allocating a large portion of the budget to increasing the salaries of already well-paid public officials can worsen feelings of injustice and inequality. The idea that is will ultimately lead to greater social equality is speculative and ignores the immediate needs of the most vulnerable populations. Public funds will be better spent on programs that directly address these disparities, such as healthcare, education, and social services, which can create a more visible and direct impact on people's well-being.
So, providing high salaries for state officials can be an effective measure to reduce corruption when implemented as part of a comprehensive strategy. This approach addresses economic necessity and has the effectively of law enforcement. Ensure social equity in the long term, strategically invest in government efficiency, mitigates moral hazard through robust oversight, contribute to structural reforms, and improve motivation and work ethics among officials. By combining fair compensation with broader anti-corruption efforts, we can create a more transparent, accountable, and efficient government.
While higher salaries can be one element of a multi-phase approach to reducing corruption, it should not be seen as the primary solution. Addressing corruption requires a comprehensive strategy that focuses on systemic reforms, strong law enforcement, and fostering a culture of integrity and transparency. By prioritizing these aspects, we can create a more effective and ethical government that serves the best interests of all citizens.
So, as a citizen, it is enough to respect each other's opinions because the desire to commit corruption arises from each of the person. Thank you for sharing your opinion, Reva.
Thank you, Cinta.